Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to A Gathering Place. My name is Marilyn Hemingway, and I am your host today. And of course, A Gathering Place is sponsored by the Gallagher Chamber of Commerce. And right after our opening, we'll bring on our special guest, Wililam Furman, with the Small Business Administration. We've got a lot to talk about, a lot of updates regarding COVID-19 and its impact on small businesses and what the SBA is doing. Business plans, talking about that, and also a grant opportunity that the SBA just recently announced, and we want people to understand who can apply for that grant. But lots of opportunities, lots of news to share, and we'll share that with you right after this opening.
Hello, I'm Marilyn Hemingway, and welcome to A Gathering Place. I said I'm stepping back because we have young voices who want to be heard, and they're moving on something.
Branding is really important to you and your business.
Even a basic type of technology, you learn it all.
And people are
Good question.
Good afternoon again, everyone. Welcome back. And let's bring on our special guest, Wililam Furman, with the Small Business Administration. Hi, Wililam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today and bringing some updates and news with you regarding the Small Business Administration and everything that's happening with it. And I'm ready to jump in because there's some good stuff going on. But you have some updates for us, that's updates from the impact of COVID-19, I guess I should say. So what's going on, William? What do we need to know?
Marilyn, I hope this is the beginning of the end for COVID. You know, everything is starting to open back up. People are getting back out. Vaccinations are in place. And so I think businesses, especially those businesses that were adversely impacted by the restrictions with COVID, I think they're starting to see business pick up. And so hopefully, these programs that were put in place, some of them have already ended. I just want to go through kind of where we are, what's still available, and make sure that everybody is aware of the situation. So,
excellent.
We started this over a year ago now, believe it or not, and so it all started with the economic injury disaster loans, the idle there that you see. We rolled into PPP, and then we've had some other programs that have come out as well. So I just want to make some notes here, and I'm just going to kind of go through this.
No problem.
Yeah, and talk about where we are and what's still available, and those that are available, I want to make sure people understand what they are. So, we did start with the economic injury disaster loan program, and that was like March over a year ago, March of 20, that rolled out, and it is a 30-year term loan at 3.75% interest for businesses that were adversely impacted. And so that loan is still available. It's still, if anybody has not applied for it, you can still apply. That application window is still open. That window is supposed to stay open until December 31st of this year, as long as funding remains available. So just want to make sure that you're aware of that. There have been some changes, though, that we need to talk about.
Okay.
Recently, it's probably been about a month ago, for those individuals that actually received that loan, they got an invitation to apply for an increase in the loan amount if they
I heard about that.
Yeah, if they're interested. And so the way that was calculated to start with was that it was based on 6 months of working capital or $150,000. That was the maximum loan amount for that. And so SBA, I think they realized that there was additional funding available and the need was still there. So they have given the opportunity to increase that loan. And that will go now for up to 24 months of working capital or $500,000, whichever is less. And so a lot of people are working through that process right now. If you, I've talked to some friends and they thought they may have seen it, but with a lot of this, they're afraid. If you get a strange email, you're afraid to open it. You think it may be some type of scam. Yeah. So just I want to make sure people are aware of that. If you think you may have seen that email, you can, as long as it ends in .gov. If it's SBA.gov, rest assured it should be safe. But that invitation has gone out. If anybody thinks they missed it and didn't get the opportunity to request that increase, they're welcome to contact me and we can get them going in the right direction on that. So that is going on.
Very good.
Had a question today. Somebody called and just need to make sure you understand this. If you received an economic injury disaster loan, as of right now, there is no debt relief that's associated with that. So it is a loan. It's a low interest, long-term loan. It's very beneficial. It's a good program, but that loan is not intended to be forgiven. Okay, so all of those loans initially they were deferred for 12 months. And then SBA came back out and deferred them for an additional 12 for 24 months. So,
that's good.
Yeah, so those loans are in deferral, meaning that you do not have to, payments are not due, and you do not have to make payments for that 24-month time period. And the intent is to make sure that the business is able to, reestablish themselves and get back on track before they have to start making those payments. So that's need to make sure that people know that and understand that.
And that's the EIDL loan, EIDL?
EIDL, that's right. Economic Injury Disaster Loan or EIDL. That's
very
correct.
Good.
And so let's move on to where we are with PPP loans. The last round came out very end of December, 1st of January. And we concluded that program was scheduled, the window was scheduled to close May 31st. So yes, that program did close. All the PPP funds were utilized. They actually closed it Friday evening as all the funds had been utilized. And so right now there are no more, and I don't think we'll see the PPP program again. I think this is probably it. Businesses were allowed a first draw, and then if they had incurred losses, they were allowed to get a second draw or a second loan on that one. And so I don't think we'll see that program again. But
let's hope that everyone that was eligible took advantage of the PPP program.
Yeah, let's hope so. They had there again, that program has been going on now for in various aspects for over a year. So hopefully everybody that needed it got it. And so now we're at the point that, that loan is forgivable, right? So it's a forgivable loan. And so if you've received a PPP loan, now is the time to seek forgiveness for that loan. And so for most of those borrowers will be able to complete a very simple one-page form. It's called 3508S. It is on the SBA website, and you would need to contact your lender. You actually go through your lender that you obtained the loan from to submit that application for forgiveness. And so now that is going to be the real focus as far as PPP goes and SBA. The focus is going to get all of those loans forgiven. And SBA has a very ambitious goal to have that completed by Labor Day. So, there's going to be a big push with all the PPP lenders and SBA and the businesses to get that done. And so most of those loans, so that loans of $150,000 or less, like I say, very simple, and that is the vast majority of PPP loans. They were for the smaller loans, for smaller businesses.
Well, good luck, everyone. Go ahead and apply for the loan forgiveness, and good luck. I hope everybody gets forgiven.
Yeah, that is the intent. That is
Mhm.
certainly the intent. To have that forgiveness take place. So again, contact your lender. That's what do you need to do? You need to contact your lender. Various lenders have different mechanisms or methods by which you will submit your forgiveness application. So that's where you need to go to the lender that provided you your loan, and
Very good.
they'll take care of you with that. The next order of business I just want to talk about for a few minutes is the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's for our restaurants, and that industry was probably or it was one of the most hard hit industries anyway. I don't want to necessarily say it was the hardest hit, but it was certainly one of the hardest hit industries. And so that was an application for a grant to restaurants to basically provide them with relief for business losses that they had incurred due to COVID. And so that application window has also closed, and those funds are currently being awarded and will ultimately be funded to those restaurants so that they can use those funds for current expenses to help them recover.
Well,
Now,
that's really good, and I encourage all restaurants, in particular the Gullah community, but all restaurants to help out as we recover. Go ahead and complete those applications for the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, and that's just to help us keep those doors open. And this is a good time, William. I want to mention, and the press release will be going out, that we actually received a grant. To establish the Gullah Geechee Seafood Trail.
oh wow,
Yeah, this is the entire coast of South Carolina will be covered. And on that seafood trail, we're going to also feature restaurants, seafood, water, fish, crabs, and shrimp, and oysters, everything. So we want our restaurants to take advantage of this Restaurant Revitalization Fund, because the Gullah Geechee Seafood Trail is going to be a foodways website featuring not only the oyster harvesters, shrimpers, fishermen, and women, but the restaurants. And so we want folks to be around to take advantage of the Gullah Geechee Seafood Trail. And so this Restaurant Revitalization Fund is right on time.
very good. You're making me hungry. Yeah. So,
well, go get something to eat after this. All right.
that is very exciting. I'll be looking forward to seeing more about that. That's of course, I'm in Charleston, so I'm on the coast.
Yep.
And seafood is one of my favorites.
Yep.
Both eating it and harvesting it. I enjoy all of that. So
the press release will be going out soon, and we'll get rolling. Actually, the funding will start in September, is my understanding, but we have been informed by the National Marine Fisheries. It's a government acronym because it's a federal government grant.
Right.
And it's
okay.
$283,000
wow,
for the
nice.
next 2 years. So I understand we'll receive the funding in September, but we're definitely going to announce that we received it.
Yeah. So I do have a bit of bad news on Restaurant Revitalization Fund.
Oh, no.
Well, just want to make sure everybody understands. So we have the applications, and just want you to know that the the total demand for the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, or RRF, exceeds the available funding by over 2 to 1, meaning that there's over twice as much demand as there is currently funding. But all's not lost. There is a movement in Congress right now to resupply the funding for that program. And so my hope is that they will provide additional funds to meet the need, basically, for that
So we
program.
encourage folks, even though it's a 2 to 1 request, as William informed us, go ahead and still get that application to get in the system, because if additional funds are approved, you want to be in a position to take advantage of that. So don't wait. Go ahead and get those applications in.
Yeah, so the application window is actually closed at this point.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, I think we pushed that out really hard. I feel like most people knew about it and were able to get their applications in. If we receive additional funding, it could reopen. We'll just have to see what happens with that. But the big thing is just making sure that we have those additional funds to meet the need.
Very good.
Yeah, I see. So you're sharing the SBA webpage. You see the shuttered venue grant.
Yes.
That is the same, kind of in the same situation. That has been the portal or application window for that is also closed, but SBA is currently making those awards as well. And so those are for as it says, shuttered venues, whether it be a movie theater or live entertainment venue. Those are the types of businesses that will be that those funds are going to. And from what I understand, on that one, there is from the applications that have been received, there should be adequate funding. So that's good news there. That's the restaurants and those live venues were really the ones that were impacted the hardest. They were pretty well, at least for a while, they were closed in entirety. And so just wanted to make sure that you have all that information. There are some other incentives though that I want to talk about. For SBA business loans, and this is part of the COVID relief, but SBA is making it very easy and has provided some incentives for small businesses to receive loans. And those incentives include increasing the SBA guarantee to lenders. And so just let me I guess give a little explanation on that. SBA does not actually make loans directly to businesses. What we do is we provide loan guarantees, which act like insurance policies to the bank. It reduces the risk to that lender and encourages that lender to make the loans to small businesses. So they've increased that guarantee to 90% for the rest of this fiscal year through September 30 to basically incentivize lenders to make those loans to small businesses. The other thing that was done is that all the fees have been waived that SBA typically charges businesses when they apply for a loan. And those fees are generally in the range of about 3% of the loan amount, but those fees have been waived, so it's not going to cost the business anything. And then there is a program called Section 1112 payment assistance. And right now, through September 30, as long as funds are available, SBA will make 3 principal and interest payments for that business. And so, it's a good time if you're seeking financing for your business, and it could be whether it's a startup, whether it's to expand your business, if you're trying to purchase your business. All of these apply, and it applies on all of our programs too, right? So our 7A loan program is just our typical loan guarantee program, and it covers that. It also covers what we call our 504 program. That's a program to purchase real estate. And then we have our microloan program, which is utilized a great deal, especially for startup businesses. And so it applies to that too. And so no matter, what you're looking for as far as an SBA loan goes, these incentives will be offered. And so that, again,
Sounds,
that's
sounds
through.
like there are a lot of options out there, William.
Yeah, we've had a lot going on the last year, Marilyn.
That's good. That's good. And hopefully some of these things will continue long term or be expanded long term. So that's a good thing. We hope for the best on that one. We have a quick question, William, and I know you
Okay.
probably answered it already, but I want to make sure. This is Elaine Pringle. What was the PPP loan for? If you could give that quick explanation again.
Absolutely. Good question, Elaine. And I have to be careful, with the government, we use acronyms. We'll throw an acronym out in a second. So PPP stands for Paycheck Protection Program. And so this was a program that was developed very early on during the pandemic that provided loans to small businesses that were to be used to make payroll, or to pay payroll. 60% of that loan had to be used for payroll in order for the loan to be forgiven. And so that was, whether the business was shut down or not, this did provide some help and relief, not only for the business, but ultimately to those employees. So they were still able to receive paychecks from their employer as these funds were provided. Again, it's a forgivable loan. And so they were provided to the employer so that they could meet payroll.
Very good, very good. And thank you for that answer, William. And just before we move on, just a quick reminder to everyone that you are watching A Gathering Place brought to you by the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce. And we are here today with our special guest, Wililam Furman, with the Small Business Administration. And he's catching us up on COVID-19 updates with loans and forgiveness of possible loans and good information. And Elaine, you are welcome. Glad we can answer that question for you. And please feel free to drop additional questions in our comments. And then also, William, we talked about earlier, we said we wanted to talk about the business plans that you could find on the website. And then there was one more thing we were talking about. Oh, this grant program. Are you ready to talk about that, or you have some other stuff we need to talk about before that?
Yeah, let's talk about the grant program, because it is part of the COVID-19 recovery as well. Yeah, and it's called Community Navigator, and it is a program that is targeted for, and I've gotten a lot of questions about this, and I think there's some confusion out there about it. But it's a grant program that is intended to help SBA resource partners, and this would be our small business development centers, our SCORE partners, as well as our women's business centers. And so those are eligible applicants. Our local government entities are eligible applicants. So whether it's your town or possibly county, they would be eligible. And then nonprofit organizations are eligible too. And the intent of that is to make sure that the services of SBA are made available to underserved communities. Okay, so SBA is providing these funds to these organizations so that they can provide assistance to the underserved communities and make sure that they receive those opportunities that they may not be aware of, or that they're not receiving for whatever the reason. And so we've had some calls from businesses about this program. And so the funds do not go actually to the small business in this situation. It goes to the nonprofit, it goes to the resource partners, or potentially that public body or city town. And so the funds will go there, and then they will work to make sure that those underserved communities and underserved organizations within that community get what they need for services.
Yeah, and I think it's actually a wonderful program. And the Gallagher Chamber of Commerce, along with some of our community partners, collaborative partners, which include universities, innovation centers, um,
Mm-hmm.
business, community development centers, we're going to be working together to hopefully get one of these grants so we can implement our educational program that we've been working on,
Yeah.
because we know the need even beyond and before COVID-19. We had a need for this type of funding. So I'm glad to see that that this is available. This has been made available. This is going to be an excellent program, and hopefully it'll be impactful.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I know there is a lot of interest out there for it. And so, yeah, we're looking forward to seeing how that shakes out. The notice of funding opportunity has been published. And so that is where the actual application is.
Yeah, this is a comment from Mayor McLaren of Andrews. Mayor, I'm going to send you the link and let's talk, because let's see what we can do together. So I'll send you the link, Mayor. But yeah, this was, I think, released last week. This information was released the beginning of last week. So this is a new grant opportunity.
It is new, and there is Maryland's pulled up the SBA website. You can go there, and there's a lot of information there on the website about it, with a link back to the notice of funding opportunity, which basically outlines what's required in the application and tells you how to submit that. And the deadline for that, Maryland, is sometime in, I don't have the exact date, it's sometime in July.
July 12th. July
Yeah.
12th. Mm-hmm.
So got a little bit of time, not a lot, but have a little bit of time to put any of those application packages together.
Mm-hmm. 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 So yeah, we got some time to put a package together, and this is going to be a quick turnaround. Also, William, I understand. I think we get the funds. I think September of this year. This is going to be a really quick turnaround on this one.
Yeah, the intent is to, again, these are COVID recovery funds, so the intent is to get those dollars out on the street.
Yeah, very much so. All right, so we have that. You guys go to SBA and look up that information, and if you are eligible, go ahead and go ahead and try. I'm always like to encourage folks. And William, let's wrap up with talking about another program on the SBA, and it's not really a program, it's one of the services that the Small Business Administration provides, and that is information. You really break it down for businesses. I said browse business topics we're looking at right now, and it's plan your business and then write your business plan. I want to talk today, have you talk briefly about the differences in business plans and where you can go find it at the website. And if you could just talk to us a little bit about business plans to help us run our business. And there are different types of formats. So if you could talk about those also briefly.
So let's just talk about business plans for a minute. Number one, before we even get into business plans, if you're thinking about doesn't matter whether you're in business or if you're thinking about starting a business. Number one, you need a business plan, and you need to, if I'm in business and somebody wants to help me, I'm more than willing to let them do that. And we have, again, I've already talked a little bit about our resource partners. But we have organizations that SBA provides funding to that will help you with your business plan. So I just want to make sure that everybody is aware of that. We have these small business development centers. They're associated with various universities, including Clemson, USC, Winthrop, and these organizations and offices are scattered across South Carolina, and they can help you with that. We also have SCORE. And this is a volunteer organization comprised of business professionals. They also have chapters across the state, and they can assist you. And within the last year or so, we also got 3 new women's business centers. And so we have a women's business center up in Greenville. We have one in Columbia. And now we have one in Charleston. That's the most recent one. They're brand new, really still putting their organization together, but they're ready to start rolling, and they are actually do have activities going on now. So I just want people to know that you can get help with your business plan at no cost, right? So these folks are here, they're professionals. They'll give you professional business counseling and consulting at no cost to you. So just want you to be aware of that, number one.
And I highly recommend that folks take advantage of this. The Gullah-Geechee Chamber of Commerce supports it and recommends it, especially if it's free. Because a lot of folks, you need your blueprint, you need your roadmap on how you're going to create your business, how you're going to grow your business, and how you're going to sustain your business. And a business plan, that's your roadmap.
Exactly. And so you can go to sba.gov and there's a search function there for local assistance. And if you just punch in your zip code, it'll tell you all of the organizations that are near you and with their contact information. So that's an easy way to find them. So I just want to make sure that people are aware of that. And then the next question, or the next thing would be, I would ask a question. Is why are you preparing your business plan? So that's going to be important to help guide you in the direction that you need to go. So, maybe you're starting a business. Maybe you need help managing your business. And as Marilyn said, that's something that you want to maintain. It's really a living document. It should be a living document that you continually pull out and use and to measure, basically measure your success, measure your performance, and set goals for where you want to go. And then the other thing that most people, when they hear business plan, they just think they need a business plan to go get a loan. Unfortunately, I mean, you do need that, but you really should have one, a current business plan at all times. So depending on what you want to do, kind of depends on the type of business plan that you're going to prepare. Okay, and so on the SBA webpage, it does have basically two formats that you can use. We have a lean startup plan, and it's really a one-pager. Here I printed. They have a sample online, and this is the lean format models, right? So one page. It uses a lot of charts. It is a very simple document. And really the best thing for the lean startup model is to, if you're considering starting a business, it kind of will help you organize your thoughts. It will help, help you list your strengths and weaknesses, and help you make some decisions early on in the life of your business.
I love the lean startup plan. I have to confess, because I'm a simple person and I want it right in front of me. But on a serious note, though, William, I took a community business course down at the College of Charleston, and they taught us about the lean business plan, and it just, for me, it helped me to really focus. Because you have to keep it short. You have to get to the answer in this one page. So you've got to make it fit that one page. And of course, you can have a more fleshed out version if your potential funder does request that. But to have that one page, it has forced you to get it out of your head and get it very simple and to the point, explanatory. It was a great help and continues to be a great help to me as I start creating more entities. Yeah. So I love the lean startup plan.
It's more of a high level overview. It's easy to do. Those are the pros with the lean startup. That's something that has really kind of come about more recently, in recent years. Back in the day, show my age a little bit, we really didn't see any business plans of this type. It was more traditional plan. And so let's talk about that. It's you have the conventional business plan or the traditional business plan, whatever you would like to call it, and it is a much more detailed version, and it is broken down by sections. And so honestly, I think if you're applying for a loan, I think lenders are going to be more apt to want to see something along the lines of a traditional business plan. But it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be an extremely long plan. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be a book. It doesn't have to be rocket science. It can be very simple as long as you cover each section. And so, in the format, and I'll just run down this kind of quickly and talk about each section a little bit. In the very beginning, you're going to have your executive summary, and that's just a compilation of the entire plan. So you're going to do that executive summary, even though it's the first thing in your business plan, it's going to be last. It'll be the last thing that you do. You're going to have the company description. There again, it doesn't have to be, in a whole lot of detail. You're going to have a market analysis. To talk about your market. You're going to talk about your organization and management, and it may be a sole proprietor. It may only be, you may be the only employee of the company. So, a paragraph could cover that, just depending on the type of business. You're going to talk about your services and products. You're going to talk about marketing and sales. And then if it's for a funding request, you're going to include a request in that business plan for what you need. And I think this is an important aspect, and people need to understand this. I get too many phone calls with people that, I ask them if they have their business plan, and yes, I do. And then you ask them about their funding and what it is they want to borrow. And inevitably, one of the next requests or next statements is, well, how much can I borrow? And that's the wrong answer. If you're going to a bank, you need to have a detailed description of exactly where those funds are going and what it's going to be used for. And then you need your financial project. If you're an existing business, you would need to have historical financial statements and then financial projections. If you're a startup business, you're just going to have your projections. But I can tell you from a lender's point of view, what they'll do is if you go into a lender with your business plan, they're going to look for a few minutes at the executive summary, and then they're going to flip immediately back to your financial statements because they want to see how they're going to be repaid.
That's right.
They're all about the numbers. They want to see, the revenue that you're generating, and they want to know that, or be able to see that they're going to be repaid.
That's right.
So that's in the very back. So they're going to look at your front page, then they're going to flip all the way to the back and look at your financial projection. So those are really the two different, types of business plans. And again, you don't have to make it really hard. You just want someone that reads that to understand what it is that you do, how you manage your business, if you're seeking financing, what you're asking for. And then, if it's simply for you to manage your business, you still want to have those projections, but you want to go back and revisit those projections and see, if you're meeting those projections, and whether you're exceeding them or if you're not meeting your goals. At that point, you need to determine what the problem is and why you're not meeting your goals and what changes you may need to make to your business to make that happen. So it is very important to have those. Now,
it is.
So Marilyn, you shared some of that online there, and so SBA does have some samples of those plans that you can take a look at.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we used to have a template that you could actually go in and create a business plan, and you could save it online and make adjustments to it as you needed. But unfortunately, we have done away with that. Not sure if we'll get a template in the future or not, but we do have these samples that you can see. And there again, that's where I would suggest that you go back to contact one of our resource partners. They do have templates. And one thing that they can do is that they can provide, or act as that independent third party and ask you the hard questions that you may not see. They can kind of play devil's advocate with your business and make you think about some things that you may not see on your own. That's a very important service that they can provide.
And it's good to bounce those ideas off of folks, as you said. They can see, they're more objective, because and I lived through it, starting the entities that I have started. That's your baby. And, you want to think your baby is just special and everything. And it is special, but a business plan keeps you grounded and make sure you're realistic. And you still need that third eye to give you feedback. And I would rather you go to that third party and get feedback than to go into a bank asking for money and become devastated because the bank's going to tell you no, when a third party could have given you some feedback before you go to the bank or to the financial institute, I should say, where you're going to go get some funds from. So, the business plan is the roadmap, and you need to find out the cost of the trip. That's what a budget is. How much is the trip going to cost you?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. And at the end of the trip, are you going to have some money left over to either reinvest or retire or whatever you decide to do with it? So that's some good information. And one thing you said, William, it's a living document. Even mine, I think I have stuff on a spreadsheet that I need to go update. You need to go visit that business plan and update it, keep it fresh, because life changes stuff. Things happen. Yeah, I can't imagine how many people have to change their business plans because of COVID.
That's one of those things that, as we like to say, you need to work on your business and not necessarily in your business. And so people, it's inevitable. Everybody gets caught up in day-to-day activities of working in their business when they really need to take some time and step away and work on their business by planning. And one other point I do want to make is that there are, if you go online and you start looking for business plan templates, there are businesses or individuals that will complete a business plan for you for a fee. And if they complete a plan for you, it's at that point, it's not your business plan anymore. And so it's really has no value to you. Even though you may have paid dear money for it, it really has no value for it because it's not your plan. So I highly discourage anyone from using a consultant or somebody along those lines to complete a business plan for you. You need to do it yourself. It needs to be, in your own words and to convey, what it is you're going to do. So I can tell you, if a lender will see right through it. If it was completed by somebody else, they'll see right through that in a minute, and that's going to turn them off once they realize that if you've developed a plan or paid someone to develop a plan for you, just not a good idea.
That's actually a very good point, William. And I want to emphasize that because when you create your business plan, that speaks to ownership. And you need to own your story. You need to own your narrative. And that's simply what a business plan is. It's you controlling your narrative and telling your story and how much money you need to get it started or how much money you need to make it more sustainable. And then you're explaining to the potential funder what's going to happen with the money you're asking for. And,
That's right.
And you have to justify that. So, yeah, I would recommend just take the time to go to SBA.gov and look at those examples. There are programs out there. I went to the College of Charleston. Their In-Place Impact Program. It's a 12-week course. I want to say 12 weeks. It's been about 2 years since I actually took it twice. a free community class through their business college, and they will help you with a business plan, and you have to do the work. But at the end of that course, it's your plan. It's your vision that you took from here as a dream and you put it on paper and you work through it. And then you have ownership. That's your baby. That's your baby. And hopefully you'll grow your baby so you can send it off to college and and you can release it and they can start making money for you, whether you sell it or leave it to your kids, and then you go retire and have a good time. But yeah, that's some good information, William. Is there anything else we need to know, William, today? I think this was a good show, good information. Every time you come on, William, you bring good information.
Well, thank you. There are some, just on SBA.gov, under that business planning section, there's some other resources there that will help you with research, market analysis, those types of things when you start actually digging into the details of the plan. So that there's again, those some good points and some good resources that you can use.
Definitely. Let me go ahead. I'm listening because I'm going back to that. Like, calculate your startup costs. I think that's wonderful right there. Just this right here, because when I first started, I was just like, where do you even go? You know what I mean? What are startup costs? What should I consider? And I work with businesses now. They simply don't even think about, for example, like, you may need liability insurance. As a matter of fact, you need to look into insurance because, well, Marilyn, depending on what kind of business.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what gets me, and it honestly kind of saddens me. We'll get calls from people that have started their business and they're halfway into developing whatever goods or service they're providing, and they've spent a lot of their own money. And they did not account for the total costs going in or where those funds were going to come from until they're halfway in. And, a lot of times it's too late. And so, it just goes back that this is all very important information. Business plans are very important. Calculating your startup cost, understanding where your funds are, how you're going to fund the business, all of that comes into play. Basically, that plan pulls all of this together.
Yeah. And remember, you can actually run your business while you're doing your plan because it's a living document. And you may have to work at your job for a while to have businesses up and running and it's feasible so that, you can leave your job. But it's more likely you will fail if you don't have a plan. And that's right. What we want to prevent. That's why you have the SBA to prevent that, because in the last few years, small businesses have decreased by about 40%. We haven't had startups. So we want that because small businesses are the lifeblood of our economy. They really are. So we want more small businesses.
Yeah. And there are ways to fund that. And maybe that's a conversation for next time.
Oh, definitely. We're going to talk about that. So make a note, William.
Okay, I got it.
We're going to talk about funding and finances and your costs, what you should calculate, and hopefully help folks in the next step. William, thank you very much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Anything else before we leave?
That's it for the time being. Again, hopefully our COVID programs are winding down and we'll be getting back to business as usual here in the next few months.
Very good, very good. And we look forward to it, William. We are slowly coming out of it. I got vaccinated, so I'm moving around a little bit more. I'm sure you got yours, I hope. And it looks like you did. And people are now ready to get out and go out and about. So we do encourage people, get your vaccines. It helps all of us.
That's right.
It helps all of us. So go out and get vaccinated, and let's go out and shop in these small businesses.
Absolutely.
And do the work that needs to be done. William, thank you once again for joining us. As always, you bring really good information. You give us what we need to know, and I've enjoyed your company. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for the invitation. It's always good to be here.
All right. We'll see you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yep, folks, there's Wililam Furman with the Small Business Administration. We always appreciate him coming on and joining us and giving us good information from the SBA. And remember, go to sba.gov, and it's just a library of information for small businesses. Also, we have coming up soon, Sunday probably, I'm hoping, we have a lot of Juneteenth programs out there, y'all. A lot of Juneteenth programs going on. And I'm going to ask those folks who sent me these Juneteenth notices to come join me this Sunday at 4 o'clock. And let's talk about your events happening on June 19th. Because, it's like Juneteenth this year has just exploded. And I want folks to know what's going on. And we have them in Bucksport. Oh, this is Green Pond Community Association. That is at 57 Magwood Bryant Road in Green Pond. Juneteenth gathering from 8:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. We also have happening in Bucksport in Horry County at the James R. Frazier Community Center. Saturday, June 19th, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We have one happening in Columbia and, of course, Georgetown. Janet, Graham, send me. I have seen you did a really colorful flyer. Please send that to me. But this is happening in Georgetown with a parade. Line up at 9:30 a.m. They're going to end at the Soul Saving Station in Georgetown, South Carolina. There's a big one happening. This is the 5th anniversary Juneteenth in Columbia, South Carolina. So, y'all, we're going to talk about Juneteenth, what's going on. But I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Thank Wililam Furman for joining us today and sharing, as usual, good information from the Small Business Administration. And if you're doing Juneteenth, send us the information. Go to our Facebook page, drop me a direct message at our Facebook page, and I will get the word out. And I know Edisto Island's doing Juneteenth. They're going to email me that information too, and we'll know more about it this coming Sunday. Look forward to seeing everybody. Thank you for joining us for Small Business Administration information, and we'll see you next time, Sundays at 4 and Wednesdays at 4 on A Gathering Place. Good night, everyone.